If you really take a close analytical look at movies, you'll see how female nature is prevalent all throughout them. You got this movie Casino here. It's actually a great movie. It's about Robert De Niro, who plays a mafia boss, former sports handicapper, who gets privileged to run a casino in Las Vegas. And he's got, before he even met this woman, he had the ability to wager on sporting events and win money. I remember this movie came out, I was about 21 years old. And I said, if I had the ability to do that, I wouldn't be thinking about messing with no woman. That would just be the last thing I would do. I don't have that ability, and that is now the last thing I'm thinking about is going and messing my life up, being involved with some woman. Well, anyway, De Niro in this movie is 43 years old. She's about 29. They didn't say it in the movie, but she, in real life, because I know the real true life story, she had a child already and was a former cocktail waitress, I think. So, cocktail waitress riding the cock carousel. Makes sense to me. And he propositioned her to marry him because I remember him saying I'm 43 years old, I don't want to wait. And I remember at 21, again, I didn't understand why because she told him she didn't love him and why he still wanted to marry her. I didn't understand that at 21. I don't understand it now, but I kind of understand being 43 and wanting a family and knowing that he was, running out of time to even have the energy to be taking care of a kid. So she tells him she don't love him. He bypasses that, tells her, if things don't work out, you'll be set up for the rest of your life. Because I guess innately he knew that it was about resources anyway. Well, long story short, she fucked around on him. She never grew to love him. She was abusive towards their kid. She just was a no good bitch. And, he ended up worse off than if he hadn't have dealt with her at all. Forrest Gump and Shawshank Redemption came out in the same year. And Forrest Gump won Best Picture. But I really believe Shawshank Redemption is a better movie. And female nature is shown in this movie because you got Andy Dufresne, who went to jail for murdering his wife and her lover. He didn't do it though. But the point I'm making is he was a beta male provider. If you've seen Shawshank Redemption, you know Andy was a beta male. She married him for stability, not for his sexual prowess. You just know this without knowing that much about the man's marriage before the story even started. You just know, he was getting fucked in prison. That's pretty beta male if you ask me. But anyway, yeah, she was cheating on him with somebody she obviously deemed to be more alpha. And he found out about it, was gonna kill him, but, he decided not to, but still he got framed for it and ended up going to prison for, I think he was there for the better part of 30 years, between 20 and 30 years, and he finally escaped. I do think this movie is better than Forrest Gump, but it still shows female nature, man. Next, you got Forrest Gump, Now, he was chasing after Jenny all his life. He was retarded. Well, not retarded. I think he had autism, but still, nonetheless, the girl Jenny put him in the friend zone from when they were little kids on the bus, didn't give him no ham, and, kind of fed him along a little bit, didn't give him total sex, but had sexual encounters with him that didn't result in penetration. And because he had autism, he didn't really have women throughout the course of his life. But then, as she was riding the cock carousel, when he went to war, and then he comes out and runs a shrimp company, becomes rich and famous, and, her years of riding the cock carousel, they didn't say it directly in the movie, but she developed AIDS, and they did actually have sex. And when he went to meet her, she shows a son that she claims is his. Nobody really never talked about that, but in the movie, you don't know for sure that was Forrest Gump's son. She could have just been pawning that kid off on him. Ever think about that? But anyway, like a simp, he married her because he didn't know any better. There it is right there, riding the cock carousel, going back to a beta male provider. Do you not see how these Hollywood movies really dictate to you a lot of things that are, you got to read between the lines with a lot of these Hollywood movies. You know what I'm saying? And now that you're getting red pill knowledge, you should go back and look at a lot of movies and see where women behave like women. Like another one would be Karen Hill from Goodfellas. She let him get away with cheating and doing all this other crazy shit because he was putting money on the table. That is the biggest thing that these women are concerned with. If you provide for them, you can cheat on them, you can beat on them, you can do whatever you want to do to them. And they ain't going nowhere because, especially post-war, they know. They know that it's going to be too much of a hassle to go out there and find a beta male provider that can provide just as good as the last guy, the alpha guy that they really wanted. They know it's going to be difficult to find them. And if they do find them, innately they know they're not going to be attracted to that guy like that. Finally, you got dead presidents. You got this nondescript dude, Anthony Curtis, Lorenz Tate. I'm not, even if it sounds egotistical, I don't care. But I've never seen a movie where the character reminded me so much of myself. Everything that nigga did in that movie was something. I've done something very similar to everything that cat did in that movie. That's why that's one of my favorite movies, because I really see myself in that character big time. But like I said, he was struggling trying to find a good job and everything like that. He was a good dude. I don't know if he was necessarily a beta. He was just a regular motherfucker. But anyway, he goes to the war, and before he went to the war, he got his girlfriend pregnant, allegedly. We don't know. That could have been Cuddy's baby the whole time, and she tried to pawn it off on Anthony because she might have known that Anthony would have been the type to get a job and provide that way, where Cuddy was a street dude. But still, she gave Cuddy sex when they fell on hard times and he wasn't able to provide. So what did he do? I guess he is a beta because he robbed that armored truck and ended up, going to jail for 15 years to life for murdering a couple of those armed guards. So you see, that's what, 4 movies? I said, what, Casino? I'm sorry about that. Casino, Goodfellas, Forrest Gump, and Dead Presidents, where it's all being shown that these women have a hardwired trait in them that requires them to seek out the male that has the most resources. Period. You might want to consider marriage. You might want to reconsider just dating these women and just leave them alone altogether and build your life for yourself, because women do not want to see a well-to-do, independent man, especially if he's fairly good looking, because they're jealous that they didn't lock him down or some other woman didn't lock him down. I remember telling a girl that I used to deal with back in my early 20s, and I was communicating to her through text, and she asked what I was up to, and I said, I'm in Maine for work. I've been here all summer. And you know what her response was? I'm jealous.